Welcome to today's podcast, Interviews with Colonial America. I am your host, Matt Ferreira, and today we'll be discussing the restrictions, freedom, and responsibilities, and the differences or similarities between colonial life and our modern life in America. We'll begin our discussion with comments from a young child in colonial America. We'll hear from young Ebenezer Johansson after this word from our sponsor.
Colonial Americans, are you looking for a party? Well, settlers look no further. Join us tonight at the harbor for the Boston Tea Party, a party like no other. This is one party you won't want to miss, and one that will definitely go down in history. So be sure to join us tonight at Boston Harbor. Tea Party rockers at the harbor tonight. Everybody just have a good time.
Welcome back to Interviews with Colonial America. On the phone, we have young Ebenezer Johansson to answer some questions about life for a child in colonial times. So, Ebenezer, what are your responsibilities on a day-to-day basis?
I have to walk to school uphill both ways, where I could learn arithmetic and how to read and write. We don't have pencils, paper, or computers. We use chalk or quill pens with ink made from berries and lard. After school, I walk home and do chores around the barn all afternoon. I gather wood for fires to heat our home and so my mother can cook up some boiled mutton. After supper, I read my Bible by candlelight that's made out of lard. I go to bed very early so I can get up and feed the livestock, gather the eggs and milk, and the cows. You know, as Ben Franklin always says, early to bed, early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise.
Or as we like to say in the podcasting business, early to bed, early to rise, work like heck, and advertise. But anyway, Ebenezer, that sounds like you have a lot of responsibility. What freedom do you have?
After my chores are done, I can swim in the summer or go sledding in the winter with my friends. We carve heads out of dried apples and play with marbles made from lard or board games my parents brought over from England.
Ebenezer, do you have any sisters? What are their lives like?
My sisters went to school for a few years, but once they could read and write, they started working in the kitchen. They learned to cook and sew and how to raise a family. They have to pluck the chickens and make candles and soap out of lard. My sisters work very hard, but they do not earn money and they are not allowed to vote.
Hating is bad.
Okay, well there you have it. The freedom and responsibilities of life for young folk in colonial America. Next step, we'll be exploring the differences among the social and economic classes and their responsibilities during colonial America. But first, this brief message from our sponsor, Sam Adams Root Beer.
Hey colonists, after working all day tending the livestock, going to church, and making things out of lard, you must have worked up quite a thirst. Be sure to purchase an ice-cold Sam Adams Amber Root Beer at your local tavern or mercantile. You'll love the rich taste of a refreshing Sam Adams Amber Root Beer, and Sam Adams Amber Root Beer is made here locally, so there's no tax for King George. Just good old-fashioned Amber Root Beer from Sam Adams, tax-free. Sam Adams Root Beer reminds you to drink responsibly, never drink and ride your horse.
Thank you to our sponsors, and now back to our program, Interviews with Colonial America. We will now be speaking with Josiah Winthrop, member of the Gentry class. Josiah, welcome to the program.
Thanks, Matt. It's a pleasure to be here.
So tell me, Josiah, what exactly is the Gentry class in colonial America, and what kind of work do you do?
One important part of the Gentry class is that we can vote. We rarely make things out of lard. Instead, we buy things that other people have made from lard. Members of the Gentry class include politicians, landowners, professors, doctors, and other professional men like myself. I work as a lawyer, and actually I need to head out to meet a client in Salem. She's a real witch, if you know what I mean. Besides, if I don't get back to work soon, I'll be going the way of my friend John, the blacksmith. He can't find a job anywhere these days.
Well, thank you for joining us today, Josiah. And all you listeners out there, be sure to stay tuned because we'll be wrapping up this podcast on Interviews with Colonial America just after this word from our sponsor.
Hey colonial menfolk out there, you're invited to join us at Franklin's Furniture and Haberdashery this weekend for a sale on rocking chairs made by none other than Ben Franklin himself, who invented the rocking chair. At Franklin's Furniture and Haberdashery, you'll flip your lid when you see our prices on wigs. You'll also find great deals on wooden teeth, trousers, woolen undergarments, and other fine goods for menfolk, made from, You guessed it, 100% pure lard. Stop into Franklin's Furniture and Haberdashery today and save like a big wig.
Lean with it, wow, lean with it, wow.
Paper money, coins, and commodities such as tobacco and beaver skins accepted same-day delivery via horse and buggy. 0% financing on all through credit.
Well, thank you for joining us today for our interviews with Colonial America. I think after speaking with all these fine folk from the 1700s, we have learned a lot about the freedom and responsibilities of colonial times. When we compare them to today's modern life, there are some differences. We have computers at school now, women do work outside the home, and everybody has the right to vote. But there are many similarities to life during colonial times. We still go to school, get an education, and work hard. Most of our stuff is plastic, which is kind of like dried lard, and there are still social and economic classes in modern-day society, which reminds me of a saying my grandfather always used to say, as much as things change, they still say the same. And with that, I will sign off. Be sure to join us next week on Matt Ferreira's podcast when we'll be exploring colonial levies, locusts, and, well, lard, of course. Visit us on the web today at mattscolonialamerica.com and be sure to support our sponsors, Sam Adams Root Beer and Franklin's Furniture and Haberdashery. And I hope to see you tonight at the Boston Tea Party.